Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to go over how to make a puzzle box using stiff slab. And you can see here I've already cut out my 6 pieces of a cube. These slabs are stiff slab, which means they're all leather hard. We want to make sure that they're leather hard because if they are any fresher than that, putting it together is going to be a real pain in the butt. We need to score each of the 8 edges. And I have this fancy scoring tool that will bevel the edge for me at a 45-degree angle. If you don't have something like this, you can use your metal rib to smooth it out, but you will need to score needle tool. We're going to apply a generous amount of slip. You really can't go too overboard on this step because we are going to clean it up afterwards. You want to apply it on every side of every piece before we stack it together. Now, like I said earlier, we need these pieces to be leather hard, otherwise putting it together is really, really difficult. So please make sure your pieces are leather hard. If they're past that point, they won't stick. So we need to be very careful with our timing. Go ahead and pinch your seams shut. Make sure they're firmly pressed in. We don't want it to fall apart or crack. You can also take one of your ribs and press down on the corners and the sides. This will compress the seam together as well as give you a nice sharp corner on all of it. Now, after we've cleaned it all up, we're going to move on to decorating the box. You can see this has been set up for a couple days. It's been cleaned up really well, sponged off, so no extra slip is anywhere. And it's nice and solid, so we can kind of press into it without fear of pushing through it. Now, I've just cut out a bunch of these circles with the texture on them, and we're just going to do kind of a fun circle texture pattern around the outside. Make sure we score and slip everything that we put on. If we don't, it will fall off. After we've put all of our decorations on, or attachments, we're going to cut the lid. Now, you can use an X-Acto knife for this. You can use a fettling knife if you've got one. Or if you don't have any of those, you can just use your needle tool. You're going to find a spot in your drawing or in your decoration and cut along the edge to make a puzzle box lid. So you can see I'm kind of following the circles around. This way it will only fit on in one direction, which is kind of fun. And as you're thinking of your design, be thinking of how the lid is going to play with the design that you've made. So you can see it's got a raised portion towards the front. We're going to clean up the walls, press them out a little bit if they were a little too soft and got a little wonky. We can clean up the seams, make sure they're really stuck on there well. If you're worried about cracking or the corners falling apart, just roll a coil and press it up in there. Just as an attachment, so you'll slip score stitch that in there, and that will give you some reinforcement. After we've cleaned it up, we're ready to put the lid back on, and it's good to go.